Now, pesto, one of the great sauces. It really is. But people make it badly, don't they? They really do. There's a few secrets. The first secret, of course, is beautiful, fresh basil. And really don't put any discoloured pieces in, and make sure every bit is perfect. So nice small basil leaves, about a cup there. So we throw that in, just into a food processor. The other thing that is terribly important is don't over process it, because if you process it too much, what will happen is it cooks, burns the basil, which is not good. About a tablespoon of raw pine nuts, a good plump clove of garlic. Pretty simple stuff, but the main thing about it is it's like almost everything. It comes back to the quality of the ingredients. Now, if the basil is beautiful, you make good pesto. 2 cheeses, not just Parmesan, which is sort of traditional, but about a tablespoon pecorino. You can buy it at any good deli. And a couple of tablespoons of Parmesan, Grana or Reggiana. So a couple of tablespoons of that. We can always add a bit more later on if we feel that it needs a bit more cheese. We can do that. Now the other thing that is important is some really good, and we know this, really good olive oil. So don't just put rubbish in there. It's very important that the olive oil is of a good standard. We're only going to put a few tablespoons in there, and you just do it through the feeder tube. What I will also add is a good pinch of salt and a little bit of pepper. Right, now to go with this, I'm actually going to do a really nice piece of fish, and I've got the most beautiful piece of blue-eye. Now for a long time they called this blue-eye cod, which isn't what it is. It's actually blue-eye trevally. We're just going to cook it really simply. First of all, we'll start off with a nice small pan. You don't want a big surface, a little bit of olive oil in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my potatoes, because I've got a tricky little thing that's happening with this fish. And we'll just turn those off. So I've got some potatoes happening. Now, let's just season this really quite well. That's a good looking piece of fish, isn't it? I love blue-eye. It's got a good shelf life. It's not, say, like snapper or King George whiting, which if you don't use it that day, it's never quite as good. All right, into the pan, the nice side down. Now I know I've told you this before, but I'll repeat myself. You always put it the good side down, because that's what you're going to end up with. So by cooking it that way, you'll end up with a good presentation side. Now that's about a 220 gram piece of blue-eye. You could do a little bit less, 200 I think, but I think you want a decent sized steak. We will just cook that very gently and get it started, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about what I'm going to do next, because I've got a couple of tricky things up my sleeve today. Right, now when my fish has got some nice colour to it, you have a look. It doesn't look bad, does it? We just turn it over. So we cook it less on the other side than we would on the good side, the show-off side. And what we then add, now this is a bit optional, I love this. We add a couple of really good knobs of butter, and we then start basting it with this butter. This just adds some lovely flavour to it. It's one of those lovely flaky fishes, when you cut it and you've cooked it perfectly, which I have, of course. So what we're doing is making a nice brown butter here. And what I'm then going to do is I'm just going to grab my potatoes, and we'll just drain those. Drain them pretty well, put them back in. And I'm going to add the smallest amount of milk, which I know will seem a bit strange, but it really does make a difference with this. So we mash this. Now, here comes the tricky bit. To that, I'm then going to add some of this pesto. Good tablespoon for a start, and we'll have a look. Don't put too much, because it comes out bright green and it looks phony. You just want to flavour it so you get a little bit of the pesto. Let's just grab our plate. On top of that goes our fish. This is a rather big portion, guys. I don't know whether I meant it to be quite this big. So we just want some brown butter on this, not black. Although black there is such a thing as a black butter. Right, I was down at the South Melbourne market the other day, and this guy gave me this peeler that he designed, which is lovely. He's selling them down there. And you can do julienne and lots of lovely things. So let's just have a look, because what I want There's some shavings. Oh, it's good, isn't it? I think I might get a bit excited and put too many on there. Anyway, I love the idea of being able to do julienne in it because it's always such a pest doing julienne there. Beautiful fillet of blue eye, pesto mash, brown butter, shavings of parmesan. Now, we need something interesting to go with that. And my dear mate Neil Prentice tells me Margaret River Semillon Blanc is the go. And I'll tell you why he said because the lovely herbaceous blueberry flavours of the Sauvignon Blanc goes very well with the gentlemanly hay lemon flavours of the Semillon. That's what he said. Don't know about all the gentlemanly flavours. Oh, that'll be good with that. All right, guys, a lovely fish dish, easy to do, but make sure that all the ingredients are perfect. And just before I go, can I just say something to you? Right, so I've got a little bit of pesto left over. How you keep it is you push it all down the side and then you put some olive oil over the top. That will then keep for a week or two.